I've got this painting here, starts from this photograph over there. Right now I'm working on these little paintings for some reason, which is going back to making a head, a portrait again on that one. Well, I was thinking about the idea of likeness and what was necessary to produce not a likeness but a recognizable how little was necessary to make an image that was recognizably a human head, and I guess they all. So that's kind of what I was thinking about at the time. I wanted to see how little was necessary to make it recognizable. And I guess it was also, I think there were certain people I was really interested in who did a lot of portraits also, and so it probably comes out of that too. Those ones were a lot different than those big ones, I think, because I think I kind of experimented a lot more with the material with those ones. The painting that's going to be in the show, if you look at it close, you'll notice there's all this cracking on it, which was putting just dry pigment in kind of white glue Bond Fast, so putting that fast drying paint over oil paint so that because the oil paint would dry slower, the faster drying stuff cracks. And there were a number of those paintings that had that. Some just had clay mixed in glue. And so I think I experimented a lot more with those things. I think I left one of them outside for a couple of months to see what would happen to it. One of them I took to OCA and sandblasted it with a sandblaster. One was just made out of wax and plaster and I think dragway sealer or something like that. So they were very different than the other ones in that way. And I think in the long run, I kind of think they're better paintings to me. I like them better. When I look at them now, I kind of, there's a lot more of them that I still find interesting than the other ones. But and so I think the title kind of says it all about them, 12 attempts to paint a human face. The delicate family thing is just a kind of little private joke with my friend Sandra, because when I was working on those and they were almost finished, I'd gone with her, we'd gone to Ottawa together and we're around her family, which were, I don't know if I want to say this, I don't know if Sandra will see it, but, her grandmother was like, fuck this, fuck that, stupid bastard, blah, blah, blah. And when we left, Sandra said, well, how did you like my delicate family? And so that's why they're called that. So, I don't know if I like the title anymore, but the 12 attempts is the actual title of the things. The other thing was just a kind of little joke to Sandra. And I think on the back of them it says 4SC, and that's Sandra. So now I kind of feel they're finished when I remember the image. And so it's almost like there's an image on the kind of edge of my consciousness or just under it, almost like having a word on the tip of your tongue and you can't remember it. And all of the working and all of the kind of marks and the shifting around and changing of everything are just little kind of mnemonic devices to try to make me remember the picture that I want to make. So that's the way I think of it. The paintings are made through a process that is much closer to loss than anything else, I think, because they're, Olga always kind of says I make paintings backwards, because I kind of build them up and then I make the painting by taking everything off. So there's kind of all that about removal, and so that is a kind of loss, I think. Yeah, and then I guess there's that kind of, the relationship between finding and losing too, which is kind of so intimately bound up with each other, you can never kind of separate them. I mean, there is no finding without a loss, and, sort of thing. So, yeah, and they are kind of, in a way they're, I don't know, in a strange way, I think they are about memory. The paintings in some manner or other, that whole idea of trying to remember the image, but also because the process is so slow and it takes so long, that it also employs a certain kind of memory to try to keep touch with kind of at least what I thought I was trying to do when I started out, right? You know, there's always kind of a vague idea of kind of what I want or something. And I think that's why I always have to have the title of the work while I'm working on it, so because that gives me the kind of subject matter to return back to keep working on it for so long. So that's kind of a necessity, and that's kind of about memory too, I think.